All right, everybody. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. A little bit later on the video today than usual because practice ran a little bit later. I don't know why there's such a variance. You would think they would do the practices pretty much at the same time every day. But regardless, we've had a practice, and now we're going to talk about it for a little bit. I will go ahead and say it right now. There isn't going to be a lot, because this was a lighter practice. You can see from Condota's tweet here at the start of the practice day, they are in shells. So it's not going to be full bore contact. It's not going to be going at 100 miles an hour. It's going to be a chill day. We're just a couple days away from our next preseason game. It makes plenty of sense. But let's talk about what can be talked about with today's practice. Please like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support the channel. So let's just quickly get through the information that we have in a little bit of a randomish order here, to be perfectly honest. Just going to quickly get through all this. Again, we are at the stage where, for the most part, what we want to see out of practice is these players getting back from injury. Dugar called out a couple of highlights from the actual, not scrimmage, but actual play portion where they're actually playing something resembling football. Sam Darnold hits Torrey Horton, one of the few long balls that have been successful in camp so far. That's been one thing that has been absent for the most part during the camp session, the deep ball. But Darnold hits Horton for about 30 yards. Reek gets beaten coverage. It may already be done, honestly. I was thinking that if Horton plays well against the Chiefs and we don't see much out of Scantling, Horton's got the number 3 spot, and I don't even know what's going to happen with Scantling at that point. We are now at the point where it might just be Horton. Like, he may just have pole position. I kind of feel like he does. I don't know if the official depth chart would recognize it yet, but we are clearly on that path, and that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty great. Horton is a lot younger. He's a lot cheaper. There's a lot more upside if he actually is good because he's under contract for multiple years. This is getting exciting. And there have been plenty of players over the years that have done well in camp, done well in practice, even done well in the preseason, and then they fizzle out when the games start to count. I don't get that sense from Horton. I don't think he's going to be one of those guys. It seems like every day almost we're hearing more good things about him, and I'm really intrigued to see what he's going to do on Friday. He has an opportunity to really just lay it down and claim his spot as the third guy. Another offensive highlight, Elijah Arroyo catches a touchdown from Darnold with Emenwari in tight coverage. Good throw, good catch, good coverage. Can't really ask for much more than that in camp, right? You want everybody to be looking good. The issue with camp is that every time you see a good play, you're usually thinking, well, that good play came at the expense of the player who allowed the good play or gave up the good play or whatever. But it sounds like this was just a circumstance of everybody doing their job, and good offense beats good defense in this league a pretty good percentage of the time. But the Arroyo thing, I saw a couple people earlier today speculating that Arroyo was going to be kind of the linchpin to the offense this year. Either he was going to be good and the offense would be good, or if he doesn't make significant contributions, the offense is DOA. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like Arroyo has to go off for this offense to be worthwhile. But it sure would be nice. It would be nice because I know we're going to be in those 2 tight end sets a lot. I know we're going to be using tight ends heavy. And again, I'm going to continue to say what I've said. People kind of get upset with me when I say this. The impressions I've gotten from Arroyo so far in camp have been very up and down. I've heard some really good stuff. I've heard some stuff that isn't good. Some days he looks fast. Some days he looks slow. I've heard all kinds of stuff. And this isn't me reporting any of this because I'm not at camp. But the people who have been there, I've heard a wide range of takes. But it does seem like we're getting somewhere with him. At the very least, it seems like he'll be a good player. Will he justify the investment? Remains to be seen. All right, that's the 2 main offensive highlights. A couple of things with the injuries, some of the players that are just finding their way back or haven't found their way back yet. Shaq Griffin was doing some work on the sideline. Shaq Griffin was doing some one-on-one stuff. Still trying to find his way onto this team. Uphill battle, but he is working out there on the field again. Good to see. One player that wasn't back today, Oluwatimi. At this point, I can only assume he's not going to be playing against the Chiefs, and that's not great. That's not great. I think the job is his, but I don't like the fact that he's getting it despite missing all this practice, and we're not far away from him missing the whole preseason. And there are players out there that can miss the whole preseason. Like, I don't care if Jonathan Hankins misses the whole preseason, but Oluwatimi could have used that. So I'm really hoping he gets back soon. I'm already kind of writing him off of this Chiefs game, but I want him to go out there and really earn that starter job like he can. Some news from McDonald. He did speak briefly after the practice. This is kind of the big one right here. This is going to be the one that people get amped up for, or maybe you still don't get amped up for a preseason game. It's up to you. The plan is to play the starters. McDonald is planning to play the starters. There are going to be some exceptions. Most will play. Not clear how long they'll be out there. I don't get the sense they're going to be out there for a super long stretch of time. But for those of you wondering, the Seahawks are going to play starters. They indicated they're going to play Darnold. They're going to play JSN. They're going to play Cup. I would assume they're not going to play Olu because he's hurt. I would assume, well, I don't need to assume. I know we're not going to see a guy like Uchenna Nwosu. Maybe you don't see a guy like Shaq Griffin because he just got back not that long ago. Tyrese Knight, I'm sure he's out, but expect to see the starters for a little bit in this game. And the Chiefs have already said they're not. So, I mean, not that winning a preseason game means anything, but you do want to look good, right? You don't need to win the game, but you want to see your starters look good against the Chiefs backups if that is the matchup. One injury update from today, very minor. Jalen Gaines, who blocked the field goal against the Raiders, left late in practice with a hand injury. We'll get some imaging done on it. Despite his blocked field goal, I think it was him anyway, in the preseason game, I can't imagine he had any real path to making the team. So obviously it's unfortunate for him, but it's not going to affect the team that much. No other new injuries. We had some veteran days, but those are going to be very standard. D-Law, Leonard, Walker, not much to say there. One note from Corbin that kind of caught my attention in a, I don't want to say a negative way, but a little bit of a discouraging way. Mason Richman has been the third string center because of the absence of Oluwatimi in the last couple of days. He's been working at center some this week. He had a couple nice reps with the third team today, including getting out on a screen with lead block. Now, I'm not discouraged about this because I'm down on Mason Richman. I think that Mason Richman is a perfectly fine player for what he is. It tells me that Christian Haynes just doesn't have a future, at least not an immediate future at the center spot. This should be a good opportunity for Haynes to latch on at center if he's going to. And the fact that we are putting guys like Moranguez and Richman at center over him, and I know maybe they're leaning on him to play one of the guard spots and they don't want to be giving him reps at center too, that tells me it's just not overly likely. That tells me that they don't view him that way. And if they don't view him that way, I don't know what his path is going forward. Center and right guard are the positions on this interior with the path forward. Left guard, it sure looks like Zabel's just the guy. Sure seems like Zabel's just going to be your left guard, and that's all there is to it. And if Haynes ends up as our backup left guard, so be it, but that's not a great way to get on the field. There were a couple turnovers today, a couple notes from the defense, and I want to point this out because there's one player mentioned here who's been turning it on lately, and this is a guy I loved in the draft last year. I was super into him. He did not play well last year, but it looks like he's made big improvements. So, first interception, DeAnthony Bell. Drew Lock had a ball batted up by Nehemiah Pritchette, and Bell came down with it. And Jarek Reed batted up a pass from Milroe intended for Tyrone Broden. Isis Waxter came up with the pick. I know that there are some Waxter fans out there, so I mean that doesn't hurt. I still think that he's got a lot of work in front of him if he wants to make the team, but I mean it certainly doesn't hurt. But Nehemiah Pritchette, man, Nehemiah Pritchette has looked a lot better this year. It looks like obviously he played really well in the preseason game. McDonald had some comments on Pritchette. Really high confidence right now. Great to see. Can't wait to watch him play again. Feels like a guy that through this offseason, he's just stacked and it's paying off for him. I'm excited for him. He's worked really hard. There was definitely a time where I wasn't sure if he was going to make the team, and maybe that stuff I was kind of excited about with him was not going to pan out. But at this point, with all the good things we're hearing about him, combined with the good stuff we saw in that Raiders game, I think we're good. And I think that there's a future for him here. I know that he was just a 7th round pick, but he was a guy that I was really into last year, really excited to get. I think there's something here beyond just a guy to fill out your roster. And one final note, and this was something echoed by a few different people. This was one of the few training camp sessions so far this year where McDonald seemed unhappy with something. He was pretty harsh with his defense. He got on his defense early and late, and then he got the whole team together immediately after practice. And the reason why he did that was he felt they were letting their foot off the gas. And this is not a sentiment I've heard from McDonald very much so far, but it is interesting that when the time comes, he's willing to express it. This is not Wade Phillips here. This is somebody who is willing to grab the controls when needed. And he felt the need to voice his belief that the team was taking it a little too easy today. And obviously today wasn't even a full practice, but he saw something he didn't like. Okay, that's all the information I got. Shorter video than typical. I'm going to get out of here. I should be on Twitch later tonight. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great day. And more stuff coming soon.